Hello and welcome to Tuesday Night Live here in the Honing Block with me, OC EJWAY. And tonight, this is a place where every single entrepreneur can come to have their skills sharpened. You know, we're all about helping people grow their potential. So you are in the right place and this is the right time. Tonight's show is all about public speaking. So I have a question for you. How do you feel about speaking in public? Is it something that you feel confident in? Are you happy to talk in front of anybody? Or does it make your stomach churn when you think about talking in front of other people? Are you of the opinion that you feel that public speaking is only for a certain type of person or people? Or do you think that actually you can develop the skill to become a confident public speaker? Well, tonight we have an expert in public speaking. We have somebody who is a public speaking coach. He is somebody who not only has spoken at TEDx and spoken at Inbound, but he's trained Fortune 500 CEOs. He has trained NFL players. He has trained people who want to speak at a TED Talk. So we're in safe hands tonight. We have none other than Kit Pang joining us all the way from across the pond, as we say in America. So I'm going to show a short clip. If you haven't heard of Kit, I'm going to show you a short clip so you can watch him in action.
You do these public speaking things. How can I say less ums when I talk? And it's driving, looking forward. And I suggested, Mom, instead of trying to say something all the time, maybe you can take a pause. Dead silence. I looked over to my right, and my mom was hunched over and said, son, I'm sorry, what did you say? I was busy texting on my phone.
Okay, we have Kit Pang with us tonight. Good evening or good afternoon to you, Kit. How are you today?
Hey, thanks so much for having me this evening. I'll say it in your time.
Okay.
And I have to say, you got the best setup. We're going on live. The countdown and the videos going on better than anyone that I've seen so far. You're just stepping up the game.
Oh, wow. That's a huge compliment because I know other people who are out there that have really got a serious, tight live game. So I really appreciate that. But thank you so much. So what time is it over there? Is it about 3 p.m.?
3 p.m. Yep, afternoon.
Okay.
Nap time for a lot of people.
Sorry, say that again.
The nap time for a lot of people.
Oh, nap time. Yeah. Do you know
Yeah.
what? I'll tell you, I've abandoned nap time, I'll tell you, because I have a little 2-year-old running around the house. She takes a nap, and that's the only downtime I have to focus on my work. So, yeah. But, yeah, listen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. How are you finding it during this time, lockdown over in the States? Obviously, we can all watch the news, but how was it on the ground level there? How are you finding it?
Everything is going here, in New York. Those are the places where it's huge. With the life is good, and I'm excited to be talking about public speaking, helping people grow, helping your audience grow wherever you are listening right now. Get to your next step.
Fantastic. And we're definitely going to get into public speaking proper. We're going to have some hopefully some questions are helpful to all the different members of our audience who are watching in different places. But before we do that, let's just get to find out a little bit more about Kit Pang. So Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how it is that you came into doing what you do now? You're obviously the founder of BostonSpeaks. You've got a coaching company. You coach people how to speak in public. So just give us a little detail of that. And then we'll move on to questions. And just so that you know, I've asked for questions from Instagram because our friends on Instagram, unfortunately, they're not allowed to join this stream. And the same with our friends on LinkedIn. So I've put out requests and some people are putting some questions. Not all of the questions are very serious. So I'm going to maybe throw in a couple of fun ones too, just as a point of interest. But yeah, go ahead and tell us about yourself, please.
Yeah, I love the fun questions more than the serious one, actually. So I'm not going to spend too much time on myself because I want to spend more time on your audience. A story that I give to people is that I used to be a hip hop dancer, but I used to be a hip hop dancer doing street dancing, and so passion in dance started going down when like 5 years ago. And when I saw speakers speak on the stage, I was like, how the heck are they getting booked and paid to speak? That was something I wanted to do. But yes, I did have a fear of public speaking. It wasn't until I entered a public speaking competition in college. In that moment, that's when I felt alive. And you know, whenever you feel alive in something, you want that moment more and more. Some people call it the zone. Well, I felt getting into the zone for public speaking. Maybe you're listening right now. Maybe it's piano, maybe it's playing football, maybe it's playing some sports, maybe it's writing, whatever it is. That got me into it. I caught the bug, and now I want to bug of public speaking and help them love public speaking. Most people don't take public speaking as an art form. For example, let's say you're into basketball. People are going to be like all day long, oh man, I'm gonna fix that angle. When it comes to speaking, I want to get people on route as well. So that's a short story of it. Just dive into how to make you guys awesome.
Excellent. I love that. And not many people know this about me, but I too used to do a bit of breakdancing. Okay, a little tiny bit. I'm far too stiff now. Do you know, the funny thing is we had like some, I don't know, you could kind of call it New Jack Swing style music on in the front room yesterday. I have 3 children. They were all dancing around the front room. And I thought, right, okay, let me just show them some of my moves. And I didn't last. I don't think I lasted a verse. You know, I was tired as I had to sit down. But now that's great that you used to do the dancing. I think, I guess those are the days. I'm starting to talk about it like I'm an old man now. But
you got to bring back the moves during some of your lives one day.
Yeah. Do you know what? The thing is, I was a teacher before I was doing what I'm doing now. And I used to say to some of my classes, I used to dance. They said, no, sir, there's no way. I said, yeah, I used to do breakdance. They never believed me. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a fun question. I'm going to ask you, this question's come from Instagram. And this question says, if you had intro music, what would it be and why? So if you had intro music, I'm guessing something like a
intro.
Yeah.
I like, I'm that type of person. I actually like to switch it up every single time. I don't like to stick to one thing. Actually, with the music side of things, I actually want to be surprised. I want to tell someone, be like, put it on for me, and add to that music as I go out. So when you say is there one song, I'm gonna have my audience choose every single time. Fan favorite, play the song, and then I go out doing something. Be like dancer. You gotta be able to adapt all of the time.
Nice. I like that. Okay. So adapt to the song. That's good. So the next question is, this one's a bit deeper. It's still fun. It's a little bit deeper. The question comes from Instagram. It's from an account called the Nouveau. I don't know. It sounds French. It says, if you could make a 20-second call to yourself, either in the past or in the future, when would you call and what would you say? When would you call and what would you say?
I want you to answer that question too. I would call myself and say, Kit, yesterday night, I sort of never went out and got Chinese. All the places were closed. I had to call like 10 of them and I had to drive around Chinatown, and it took me a while to get Chinese food. I thought it was open, but it wasn't open. So I would call myself back then and be like, no, don't even go out. It's coronavirus. Why are you going out and getting food? But on a serious matter. But that was kind of serious. I would say take more time to prepare and preparation.
Okay, I think my end there, it kind of paused for a little bit there. I brought myself back in. You go ahead and eat your food. I know that we're kind of interrupting your mealtime, but you go ahead. So yeah, I think my answer to that. What's my answer to that? Let me see. If I were to call myself, I would call my teenage. I'll probably call my 13-year-old self. I would call my 13-year-old self. Yes, just before I'm about to choose my GCSE choices. Okay, I would call myself. I'd say, hey, look, I know you're not really seriously thinking about your future. You're just coasting through school. Here is the deal. And I would break down everything and start my entrepreneur journey a lot earlier. And by now, I'd probably be rich.
So, when did you start your entrepreneur journey?
I put it into action probably just over a year and a half ago. Have we just turned the tape? Did the tables just get turned live online? I'm being interviewed now. Yeah, I started my journey just over a year and a half ago. So it's quite new. The reality is I was kind of a teacherpreneur before that. So I was one of those people, I worked after work. So I would go to work and I would be a teacher, and then I would come home and I would work again. So I started OC's Tech Tips while I was in school. I actually started a version of EJWAY Education while I was at school too. So I was kind of doing those things for a few years while I was in school. And then when I came out, I just went full time.
Yeah, I love that. Teacherpreneur. That's the first time I've heard that. That's good.
Yeah, yeah. It's actually a thing. I didn't just make that up. Yeah, so that's actually a thing. So yeah, I think I had that streak in me anyway. But I didn't realize it. I think what changed me was I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And that kind of changed my mindset in terms of, when you kind of look around, you're like, hold on, I've been doing this wrong. There's different rules. So yeah, that kind of woke me up and I changed my pathway. So
yeah, you got the aha moment. It's a good book.
That's right. It is. Yeah. Very good book. Okay, so I'm going to turn the tables back. I'm going to ask you the questions now. Okay. So, okay. So the first question I'll ask you, in terms of public speaking, when it comes to public speaking, what is the most, because you're a public speaking coach, so what is the most common mistake that you notice kind of across the board when it comes to people speaking in public? Is there one thing or maybe one or two things that stick out as a common mistake that people make? And what do you usually say to people to correct that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was watching an interview about Kobe Bryant, the basketball player, and they asked him, how do you not get in your head when people say you suck, you're bad, all of that? And Kobe just said, hey, get over yourself. You're not that important. Because if he's missing all these basketball shots, he has to figure out, really, why is he missing all these shots? The biggest mistake that speakers are making, unfortunately, they get stuck in the head. My yoga teacher said, when you're stuck in your head, you're dead. I think 80% of the public speaking problems, they're not even real. It's like saying, I'm going to cross the street and a car is going to hit me every single time I cross the street. That's what people are thinking about when they think about public speaking. Oh, I'm going to mess up. Oh, my voice is so bad. Oh, I'm doing this. But when people actually are seeing you, they think you're pretty good. And I'm sure that you had this experience before when you're watching someone else and they said, oh, I'm so bad. And maybe this happened to you as well. So the biggest mistake, try to get over yourself as fast as you can, because in reality, nothing is happening. It's on there.
Okay, so it's that, I guess, that battling with your own esteem, your own self-esteem, right? So for some people, they're just kind of overthinking it. Is that right?
Yeah. So let's say there are different levels, okay? Let's say just the beginner's speaker, good speaker, and great speaker. So what's the difference first between good and great? Here's what they will say about good speakers. Wow, you're such a good storyteller. Oh, that speech was amazing. Thank you for going up there and saying that. That's what they will tell good speakers, okay? Great speakers, they'll say this to them. Oh, man, your story changed the way I look at the world. You know how you said about the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Oh, man, that concept changed my outlook of the world, okay? People will say that to great speakers. Again, good speakers, oh, that's a good book. That's a good book, okay? But a great book, wow, that book changed my view in the world. The beginner speakers, they'll say to beginner speakers, hey, that was not bad at all. You actually did pretty good. Okay, does that make sense? So boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I think it's good to kind of have that criteria. And this is the thing I love. I've kind of had a look at some of your content online, Boston Speaks. Check him out on online as well if you're really wanting to follow up on this. I'll give the links later on. But you really do methodically break down steps to just how to, like what you've just said now. That is something that's tangible. Somebody can actually, I guess, categorize themselves. They can assess themselves and say, okay, right, I'm in this category and I need to get to there. And okay, I'm in this one, I need to get to there. So I think that really does, it really does help. I wonder, in terms of that.
How do you feel about your speaking? Sorry to interrupt though, but how do you feel about your public speaking?
Well, the thing is, my assessment of my own public speaking is this. I say what I feel needs to be said as long as people are listening to what I'm saying. Does that make sense? So I'm not afraid to speak in public. I don't mind saying things. I was the guy in the classroom who, when everybody wanted the teacher to know something, or if they wanted to change something, they would say, "I'll go and ask the teacher," and nobody moved. I would move. I would get up and do that. So I'm not afraid of talking. I think I don't really take myself seriously enough. I think that's probably why I'm doing what I'm doing now. I really don't. I don't look in the mirror too often. I don't really check myself. It's kind of what you were saying. So I really don't know. It's up to people to tell me if it's any good or not. So yeah.
Yeah, and so okay. So here's the line. Okay, I'm gonna say these are extremes. This side, perfectionist. Okay, everything has to be structured. There's just gotta structure everything. That has to be perfect. On this side, carefree. Okay, these are just two extremes. Do you know what I do as a public speaking coach? I see where they are and I try to get them to the opposite side more.
Okay.
The people that are carefree, they need more structure. Okay, the people who are too structured, be a little bit more impromptu. It's okay. You're good. You don't gotta practice everything. Okay, does that make sense? It's kind of going to the opposite end.
Yeah, definitely. Because I guess what you're saying is balance, right? You kind of need that balance. So if you haven't got too much structure, you need a bit of structure there. Or if you're overthinking it and you've got far too much structure, you kind of just need to do it, right? So it kind of brings people to the middle. Is that what you're saying?
I'm gonna say you can still choose a side. But they said, there's a quote, I don't know who said it. A master has failed more times than a beginner has even tried. Okay, a master has failed more times than a beginner tried. If you are a master at something, you're gonna have the other side down packed too. But are you gonna use it? You don't have to use it, but you understand it so well that you decide not to use it or do something with it. Okay, it's the people who don't know how to do it, but they want to do it. But you can still pick sides, but just understand the other side to it too. Yeah,
that makes sense. You've got some wisdom there. I remember watching you on Paul Carrot Brunson's show, and you have these little sage lines like that. I like that one there. A master has.
I keep on using them over and over again. That's why.
Yeah. I like it. So yeah, one that's not in my notes. I want to know, what do you feel is a tip for people who are shy but have to speak in public? Have you got any practical tips for them to overcome their nerves just before they're about to go on stage or in public to speak?
I'm going to share my screen really quickly. Is that cool?
Yeah, sure.
And I pulled up this slide because I had a feeling you're going to ask that question. So when it comes to nervousness, of course, this is just one thing to public speaking. And Ozzy, let me know if you can see my screen. I think you got to pull it up. You can see it? You can see it, right? So it says, stage fright. Why does that happen? And so usually there are 4 reasons that happens. And once you understand this, you'll know how to ease your nerves a little bit better. Okay. The first reason, task mastery. What does that mean? If you don't get on your bicycle and don't learn how to ride the bicycle, you'll never get better at it. You can watch all the YouTube videos, articles about riding a bicycle, but if you don't get on it, you won't be any better. So how often are you speaking in public? Are you doing the task at hand? But when you're doing the task, how much risk are you taking? Here's an example. If you keep on swimming the same 2 laps, it's comfortable for you already. But if you have to swim the 2 laps in 30 seconds less of a time, you're increasing your risk. So each time that you're speaking, how can you also increase your risk? So here's another example with speaking. Let's say you're comfortable speaking to people you manage or your friends. And every single time you speak to all of your friends, you're comfortable. But every single time you speak to people you don't know, you feel a little bit uneasy. So it's better getting more opportunities speaking to people you don't know than speaking to your friends, okay? Task mastery is repetition plus risk. That's the formula for it. Number 2, why do people get scared? It's because it's high stakes. What I talked about earlier, you're stuck in your head. It's high stakes for you. It's not high stakes for anyone else. So how can you make something lower stakes? If you can get everyone to say yes to you every single time you open your mouth, you're decreasing just your risk and you're decreasing your stakes. So this is from high stakes to low stakes. How can you work on the craft of speaking, the art form of speaking? The better you get at the skill of speaking, the faster people can say yes to you, so that you can almost guarantee, yeah, people are gonna like what I'm gonna say. Okay, I'm gonna go through this a little bit quicker. Number 3, why people are scared? They're not scared of the adrenaline. They don't know how to handle the adrenaline. Olympians, they need that extra adrenaline to help them lift 10 times stronger, more, or run 10 times faster. But as a speaker, we will all get nervous. People who are super comfortable will still get nervous in front of a big stage or whatever high stakes situation. They just like the adrenaline and they are okay with the nervousness. Now, there are things that you can do to stop your fear or nervousness. You take a pill and the pill stops that a lot of adrenaline from pumping into your heart. It's called a beta blocker. Of course, the next level down, you can smoke some marijuana. That's the next level down. And then the next level down, if you want to do it naturally, you want to focus on your breath. Your breath controls your adrenaline, okay? The 4th reason, it's in your genes. This is going to be a little bit funny, but I took a test, and my wife did too. This is from a place called 23andMe. It says, Kit, based on your genetic factors, I am less likely to have a fear of public speaking. So the other thing too is it's just not humans. You know that certain types of dogs are more nervous than other types of dogs. Now, unfortunately, this does matter. Like this is saying, in addition to genetics, your age, sex, and other influences like how you grow up, does matter at the same time. So it's just not all in your DNA, but there are some people that are just more extreme cases with your nerves. And that's all I'm going to share with this. Go back to you.
Fantastic. That is excellent. That was excellent. Again, I did tell people that it's very detailed, very structured, and just very helpful there. I didn't know that about the genes. I'm going to have
the DNA.
Very, very interesting. I might have to take that. What was the website that was on again?
That's called 23andMe. It's not for that public speaking thing, but it shows you like if you have any diseases, ancestry, all that stuff. That's just for like the fun side of stuff they track.
Right. Okay, that's cool. I think that's an excellent answer. I mean, that's so detailed. Hopefully people are watching. I can see some questions coming in from social media, so keep that up to those people who are watching. Thank you for those. What I would like to know in my next question is in regards to preparation and memorization. So do you actually have a method to memorize? Do you attempt to memorize your speeches, or do you advise people to follow cue cards, or sometimes there's a teleprompter there? What advice do you give for preparation in regards to remembering what it is that you want to say?
When it comes to remembering something, just if you have to remember it word by word, definitely do it. There's nothing wrong with using notes. If you go on YouTube, you know there's viral videos of people, let's say, giving commencement speeches, and they're reading notes. You probably didn't notice because the message was that good. So you can also practice reading notes at the same time. No one's going to care. Like, I'm eating food, and you're probably, I hope you're enjoying this conversation. But if you do want to memorize it, definitely memorize it. You can go paragraph by paragraph. For example, if you read paragraph 1, memorize it, put that away. Read paragraph 2, memorize it, and then combine paragraph 1 and 2. After you combine paragraph 1 and 2, put that away. Do paragraph 3, paragraph 4, and then do 3 and 4. After you have 3 and 4, do 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you have to really memorize it that way, put it all in note cards. You can write it all out, read it, memorize it. But some of the best speakers, they don't need to memorize material because it's actually less information. You only want to memorize things when you are not too sure about it. Maybe it's something new, or maybe you have so many bullet points. Even you have to memorize it. Look, if you have to memorize it, how will your audience remember it? Okay, so that's a question to you. If you have to memorize it, how will your audience remember it and retain it? The less information that you give, the better that people can remember things. It's kind of like if you go to a grocery store and you give people a list of 15 things, if they don't have the list in front of them, they can probably remember like 1 to 5 at most. It's very hard to remember things. So less information, more centralized ideas. It's like a book. If you read a book, there's a title, and everything is branched off of that title. So you want to make sure you have a good idea that people will take away. So if they say, hey, I missed this talk, what was that talk about? They can say it in a sentence or two about it. And that's the point for the time they're with you.
That's brilliant. So there's a few things in there that you've said in terms of memorizing. Yes, you can do it. But actually, the key is to have like a central point that you're making and not rely too heavily on that. I think for me, in going back to the question you asked me before, in terms of how do I feel about my public speaking, I'm the type of person, if you looked at my notes, you would see bullet points. Like I would have like a bullet point and maybe 1 sentence, 2 sentences, and I'd talk for maybe 10 minutes around those 2 bullet points because I kind of have an idea of what I'm going to say. Is that the type of thing you're talking about when you're saying that kind of build your ideas around a thing?
Well, let's talk about this actually. I want to ask you, Ozzy, how many articles or YouTube or information of that do you think you consume today? Like, did you actually watch any YouTube videos or or articles?
Today, yes, I read some information on influencers. There's an article online where there was a little blurb. I watched some videos. I watched some of your videos as well. Mm-hmm. I watched some other bits as well. So yeah.
Can you tell us about something that you watched? Can you explain to us about something? What did you get out of one thing?
Yeah, so from the information that I read, it seems that there's been extensive studies carried out among like some of the top influencers in the world, like the top influencers in the world. So people like Tony Robbins, people like Robert Kiyosaki, and they've analyzed their effectiveness in terms of what they're doing within that industry. And they're kind of detailing in this is an advert to buy the journal. The journal costs like $2,000 or something like, and they were advertising the details of it, the benefits of it. So if anybody wanted to do any kind of market research into, kind of being an influencer, etc., they would be enticed into buying that.
Yeah, and that's great. Now, you just told me about one thing, okay? Let's say people are speaking. Let's say even if it's one slide, if people have, let's say 20 bullet points, That's on top of all the articles that you're reading and YouTube stuff and flipping through whatever. You know how much information we're getting every single day? So you have to think about your audience. How can you make it easy, super easy for them to remember your information? You don't even have to go to the grocery store nowadays. They'll deliver food to you. Before the coronavirus, they still, they did that and all that. Same thing with Amazon. They make it so easy. You don't even have to lift a finger. If people have to lift a finger and try to memorize things, you know what I mean? They have to take effort. That would think Troy, I'm like, oh man, you want me to memorize or carefully think about this? It's gonna take work, Right. So it's okay. It's definitely okay to have bullet points, but you see what I'm saying from your audience perspective. You blast them with too many things, they don't remember anything.
So then what you're saying is have key points that are the main takeaways, right? I think you alluded to this before. So actually they're not having to memorize so much. Actually, this is the key point that you need to take from this section. And then maybe have 2 or 3 of those. And I guess that kind of informs another question. I've heard some talks where they will talk about the 15 steps to financial freedom, right? Okay, is that a good title? And is that, in the context of what you've just said, is that realistic for people to kind of come away and remember those 15 steps, even if they are taking notes?
Okay. Now, I would say, of course, you can play around with many things. We know it's about financial freedom. Okay? Boom. That's easy. They make it easy for you to understand by saying there's 15 steps. Okay? Now, you might not even remember all those 15 steps at all. But of course, if you look at the book, maybe 1 or 2 will jump out at you and you'll be like, I like step number 3. But of course, in the 15 steps, you know how that's a whole book, right? Like 200, 300, maybe 100 pages. So even if you have step 1, it's this. It's more memorable by saying, you can still branch everything under step 1, but some people, they just go, boom, and there's 10 steps. There's 10 things without branching them under. If you think about this, what you want to do is categorize things. That's what I'm getting into. You go to the grocery store. You want to buy apples. You go to the apple section, and they have a lot of apples. You want to work on your fitness. If you want to work on your biceps, you look up a bicep exercise. Okay, you're going to look bicep abs exercises. You see how it's more categorized? When you are presenting or when you're giving information, sometimes if it's not categorized, it's harder for us to retain it. So once you categorize something, it's just easier for the human mind to put it in place. I mean, we see it all around us. It's hard not to.
Yeah, most definitely. We do find it easier when things are in groups. So that definitely makes a lot of sense. I'm going to take one of the questions from social media. We have someone from Facebook is asking, what is the outline to start a good speech? So do you have a set maybe template or outline that you would suggest?
Yeah. So I would love and you can do this right now. Everyone that's watching, and I want you to try it. I want you to try it too.
Okay.
So if you guys are still watching, I want the audience to type in SCQA. Okay, SCQA. The S stands for situation, and you listen up. I'm going to ask you to do this too. The S stands for situation. The C stands for challenge. The Q stands for question, and A stands for answer or solution, okay? If you use this in any intro, I guarantee you everyone will understand what the heck you're talking about. I'm going to put this point right now. It's better to be clear than creative. Sometimes we want to be creative, but no one knows what the heck we mean or what we're talking about. SCQA, okay. Situation, challenge, question, answer. Let's say if I'm going to start off this Facebook Live, okay? Situation. Hey, everyone. Today, we're talking about the importance of public speaking. Public speaking is one of the most important things that we can learn in our lives. You see, one of the main challenges that we face as speakers is maybe we have a fear of public speaking, or we just want to go from boring to engaging. And so the question we want to ask our guest and interviewer today is, how can we actually improve our speaking so we can be more confident, and how can we be more persuasive? And the solution is kind of like cooking. You need recipes. Okay, you see how it's boom, 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 boom. Okay, if this is a meeting, okay. Good morning, everyone. Today we're here because coronavirus hit. So the challenge the challenges that we're facing today is we're not getting as many clients as before. So the question that we want to answer by the end of this meeting is, how can we adapt our plan so we can get more leads or get more sales? The solution, let's figure that out during this meeting. Okay? You get everyone on the same page.
That is absolutely amazing. Do you know what? As you were talking, as you were saying that, correct me if I'm wrong, did I do that in the intro?
You did. You talked about. We're here today. We have Kit Pang today, so this is also natural too. So I want to say one thing. Yeah. Challenge can also be opportunity, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can also think of it this way. Let's say it's the gold rush. Everyone wants to buy gold somewhere. Look, we're here because there's gold in California. That's the situation. There's gold in California. Our opportunity is that no one knows about it yet. So the question we're trying to solve is, how can we get there faster than anyone else? The solution? Let's figure that out together. Okay?
That's fantastic. That's excellent. So we have situation, challenge, question, and then the solution or the answer.
Yeah.
So
you want to try it? Try it on something.
Me try. Okay.
We have to pick something though. Is there something that you're doing later, like tomorrow or whatever?
Oh goodness me. Okay, so I have a live session that I teach the absolute basics of trading forex. Okay, so
go.
Oh goodness me. So situation.
Situation is basically why are we here today? Like, what's the point of us being here together?
Okay, cool. So yeah, the section is called Forex 101. So I'm gonna do this right. Okay, so. Okay, and this is live, people. Go easy on me in the comments, please.
Don't go easy.
Yes. Okay, we can do this. Right. So, hello, everybody. We are here in Forex 101. We're here to find out the basics of foreign exchange markets. So, the question is, how does one go about starting to approach the foreign exchange markets? Is it confusing? Well, here, we're going to unpick the basics and we're going to try to answer the questions to help you to be able to start your journey as a Forex trader.
Yeah. I want you to throw in either a challenge or the opportunity we're facing.
Okay. The challenge is so many people want to just get involved in Forex and they end up losing lots of money because they don't have the right information. So,
okay, let's flip it. What if you gave an opportunity? What's the opportunity?
The opportunity. So with that, is that the answer or is that the?
No. Think about this. The opportunity is, look, right now is one of the best times for you to make more money.
Okay. The
opportunity.
So opportunity, is that under the answer, the solution?
No. It's either challenge or opportunity.
Right. Okay. See, I didn't write that down. You see, I need to put that in my notes. Opportunity. So, okay. So the challenge is linked to the opportunity.
So give one or the other. You can give both, but just give one.
Right. Okay. Sure. So did I pass the test, or do I have to do it again?
Oh yeah, no, that was great. You got everyone saying powerful. Well done. How did it feel for you?
Yeah, do you know what? It makes a lot of sense. It really does make a lot of sense. I think it sets the context. There's something in there that the listener or the viewer can relate to. Hopefully that it resonates with them and gives them a reason to carry on listening. It's like saying, here's what's coming up, per se.
Yeah. Once you say it out loud, you know what happens? You talk about what you think about in your head and you make it come alive in the situation. Sometimes we're thinking about these things and we think people understand what we're thinking about. Why we're here, the situation, what the problem that we're facing, whatever opportunity, the questions. But this is the things that most people are confused about, or they're not on the same page. This can take a sentence or two. But if you say this in the beginning, you get people on the same page really quickly, super fast.
That's excellent. That's amazing. Okay, so I've got another question here that came in from this one actually came in from LinkedIn. Actually, it came in from Deb Helfrich. So she is asking, and this is kind of more along the lines of someone who wants to speak professionally now. So she's asking, what is the most important step to gaining coverage on local news that would create a reel that would lead to paid gigs? So I guess it's kind of, how do you get something that you're doing publicized in order to lead to a paid public speaking gig?
I'm going to twist it around, okay? Let's say people want to get out there as a speaker. So you have to ask yourself, why would people want to find you as a speaker, okay? Because they might have a problem, or you are advancing something. You want to think about it like, if many people ask this, it's like, how can I get out there as a speaker? And I flip it this way. If you want, let's say you have a water heater problem, or your sink is broken. Who are you going to call? Okay, a plumber. How are you going to find the plumber? You ask your friend, or you type into Google, I need a plumber near me. Okay. If you want to get out there as a speaker, event organizers or TV people, I know, unfortunately, we're not like Michelle Obama or Barack Obama or Tony Robbins. If we go into town, no one's going to create an event just for us, okay? They already have an event. You just fill the event. So let's say the event or the topic or the segment is about leadership. Then they will say, I have a leadership problem, just like I have a plumbing problem. How am I going to find this leadership speaker? They will either ask someone, they know you, or they're going to type into Google. If they can't find you on Google with the right keywords, you need to make sure your keywords, you don't have to type in these keywords, but it's what will other people say about you? My keyword is public speaking. If you enjoy this live and someone said, what did you do for the past hour? You're going to say, I watched this talk with this public speaking Chinese guy, and they talked about public speaking. Okay, but I want public speaking to be in your head. So you want to be associated with a few keywords that other people can explain and understand super, easy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, definitely, because I guess the question would be, as you said, why would somebody choose you? It's just going from that kind of you're not known to being known. So it's, I guess, what are you known for?
Yeah,
is what you're saying, right?
Yeah. So let's say this. A long time ago, so I did a post on LinkedIn. It was about public speaking, and a news guy on Fox 25 News reached out to me because he said, I'm doing a segment on virtual public speaking, and I just saw your post on public speaking. Okay. He was doing a segment on virtual public speaking. He just needs to find someone who seems like an expert to fill it in. You know how many experts there are? You just need to be searchable. That's it.
Right. Searchable is the key. Okay. That's a brilliant answer. And I think that's a good one for many people who are watching right now, in terms of just getting into that position, just positioning themselves to be the person that solves that specific problem.
Yeah. And I want to ask your audience too, right now, if you were to type into the comments, who are you? What keywords will people type in to find you? If you're unsure, you need to be clear. If people don't know what to type in, or they take a paragraph to explain what you do, it's way too long.
Okay. Who's brave enough to type in the comments and say what you are known for?
And it should be something that other people know. I was working with someone, and she said she wants to be a hype coach, hyping people up. When I was with her in the room, I'm like, oh yeah, we need that. I need someone to motivate me. But if I wanted a hype coach, I don't even know what that means. I need her to explain it to me in person. None of you probably know. Well, all of you probably have a different definition of hype coach, or there's no such thing. So you need a term that people already understand. You don't have to go super crazy with your terms. Find something that other people understand first.
Fantastic. That is great. And I can see some people have identified themselves with specific areas. So we have personal finance, we have mentor for young people, we've got motivational speaker, we've got education technology. So it's great to be able to identify yourself. I think for me, it would be entrepreneurship. Hopefully I'm known as somebody who promotes multiple streams of income, because I do talk about it a lot and I try to promote that as much as I can. But yeah, I think that's a very strong point. That's a very strong point.
Yeah, if you name out, let's say, unless you're a big name person, they can talk about many, like Tony Robbins. He's talking about relationships, finance, business, money. But still, he's like the motivation guy, or Gary Vaynerchuk, the marketing guy.
Yeah, it's true. Very true. Very true. Now, thank you so much for that. And thank you, Deb, as well for that question. Okay, so now I entitled today's session, Listening to Speak. And I know from the research that I've done that you're quite big, as well as the talks that you've done as well. There is a key element to public speaking that involves listening that I feel personally many people don't often consider. So I'd like you to just talk to us a little bit about what you feel the importance listening has when it comes to public speaking. Why is it important for us to listen, and how do we listen to improve our public speaking?
Yeah, that's a great question. When it comes to speaking, why are we communicating in the first place? Yes, it is to get our ideas across. But if you want to get your ideas across and you want people to remember it, and it's impactful to them. Have you heard of this before? What's the most important thing that people care about? The first thing is the name. Second thing is what's in it for them. So if you don't take the time to understand about what's in it for them, and you just go into all your ideas, they will just not care. If it hits them, then they will care. Usually they'll just tune out. Remember the last time you watched a YouTube video or podcast, or you sat into a presentation? Why were you tuned out? It's usually because the information is not important to you. Okay, that's the key difference. If there was information that was still dry and it was important to you, it will be engaging. Okay, now it might seem very dry, but if it's very important to you, let's say you owe taxes, and you break down the amount of taxes you owe, okay? To other people, it might be boring, but to you, it's going to be the most important thing. So if you know how to listen to your audience, and you know how to talk about where they're coming from, what they're saying, what their problems are, actually, I'm going to share my screen real quick. Can you flip back to my, yep, there we go. I'm going to show you guys behind the scenes of how I do work. And so this is where I keep everything. So this is what I call the speaking map, okay? So usually when I work with my clients, after this whole thing is filled, I will guarantee you your presentation will be pretty good. So most of the time, people don't take the time to answer these questions. That's it, okay? Who are they? What problems are they facing? Where do they want to go? Like, what's their future? What might they resist? Because people just start talking about our ideas, even if you mention, okay? Let's use an example. I want to convince my dad to eat organic food. Okay? What would make this talk a win? My dad will go buy organic food. It's that good. The talk will convince him to buy organic food. Okay? What is he? I'm just doing this for an example. What is he resisting? Is organic food even real? Do they like this? This is what he said. How do we know they sell real organic food in at Whole Foods? Okay, let's say if I didn't even know that, and I just talked about organic food is good for your health. I gave all these other reasons. It's cheap, whatever. Do you know what he's thinking about? he's thinking about, is it even real in the first place? Yeah, it might be healthy for you, it might be cheap, but how do we know they're not scamming us? Okay, if we don't address what we think they're thinking about, we will never ever get through to them. So the question is, chicken or egg, which came first? Is it your ideas, or should you listen first? Always do the listening part first. Listen to yourself, listen to others, and as you can see, the SCQA is next. Then you start thinking about, based on what I have here, what kind of ideas should I be putting into my meetings or into my talk? I'm gonna flip it back to you.
Wow, that's that is amazing. I know that has been so useful to a lot of people that are watching this. Just the structure, and I asked the simple question: how is listening related to public speaking? But the detail of the answer, I think, that's value second to none. That is amazing, because not only do you have to kind of, I guess, in yourself, like what you're presenting in yourself for people to hear about you, and then also what are the preconceptions, what are the barriers to them hearing your message? Because I guess if you don't know that, like you said, the words are falling on deaf ears.
Yeah, there was somewhere that I read, I forgot where I read this. They said that negotiators take almost like 65% of their time learning about someone before they get into the negotiation situation.
Now that makes sense.
That's all about listening and learning. The faster you get better at that skill, the faster you will just be you'll just be successful everywhere, guaranteed.
Fantastic. That's amazing. Okay, Kit, I'm going to ask one more question. We're going to wrap up. And we're so grateful for your time today and everything you've given so far. But my next question is in relation to audience. Now, there are different, and maybe you've kind of answered this question already, but I know someone like you've traveled to different places to give talks. Do you adapt your talk according to who's listening, or do you kind of have a stock way that you speak and that's it, that's Kit Pang, this is what you're getting?
The more that you can adapt, the faster and better it will be. But as an entrepreneur, the easier thing for you is know who your target audience is. Look, if let's say we're all entrepreneurs, and I talk specifically about how you can use public speaking to sell more of your stuff online or on video. Every single time you go live, you're using your public speaking skills. If you make it more in tune with your audience, your message will just make the ears perk up. So adapt it as much. You can have the same topic. Like I'm still talking about public speaking, but public speaking to entrepreneurs, okay, is how can you maybe make more money when you are speaking live on camera? How can you get more speaking opportunities? How can you use public speaking to get more leads? I'm twisting it so that your topic will be the answer to every life's problem. I'm going to say that again. Your topic will be the answer to every life's problem. Let's say I'm speaking at a conference for leadership. Public speaking is one of the best things that you can learn to be a better leader, because as leaders, you need to go in front of people on a weekly, daily basis. You're talking to your team members, you're talking to stakeholders. Okay, that's what. Now you see how I'm twisting public speaking to leadership, but if this was public speaking for entrepreneurs, you angle it a little bit differently, but it's the same topic. But the faster you hone down your audience, the faster you get the information, so you don't have to go all over the place.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an excellent point. That is an excellent point. So it's all about knowing the audience. So the better you can know the audience, the better prepared you can be, and the quicker you can solve their problems, right?
Yeah, I think as an entrepreneur too, when I was first starting out, we've all heard this, niche down. I wanted to sell to everyone. You know what I was thinking? I'm like, I don't want to lose this client. I used to do I used to do public speaking and communication, right? I used to also teach listening and speaking because people were booking my listening workshops. But then I said, if I cut off the listening workshops, I'm going to lose these communication clients. And it's being scared that's going to hold us back, right? And the answer is niching down as fast as you can, because once you niche down even more, the world opens up a lot more.
Fantastic. So get that concentrated niche. I think I've made the same mistake. You keep it nice and broad in the beginning. I want to help everybody. I want everybody to help this. I want everybody to learn. Whereas really, there is a specific niche that you're targeting, and that makes it more effective. I'm finding that more and more with what I'm doing as well.
But I do have to say it depends on where you are at as an entrepreneur. When you're starting out, it might be you have to try like 5 or 3 things or 7 things to see which one is working, but then niche down along the way. It's hard to. You don't want to, but that's the right answer.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm gonna close it out with one fun question, and this one came from Instagram as well. This one says, "What 3 words best describe you?" So I'll let you have a think about that. And while you're thinking about that, I'm going to tell the audience that those of you who are joining us from the Honing Block, we do have our weekly competition, and our competition is linked with a video that I'm going to show of Kit coming up. I'm going to show a clip, and then I'm going to ask the question linked to the clip, and your answers need to come in by direct message, and the winner will be selected at random. You'll win a £20 Amazon gift voucher, as well as a free financial review courtesy of AMA Finance Academy. So, Kit, the question was, what 3 words best describe you?
Hey, I love all these giveaways that you do. You're amazing.
Yeah, I love free things, right? So I know that if I love free things, I'm sure other people do too. So I like giving away stuff.
I like free stuff.
Yeah.
To answer that question, I'm going to flip it to 4 words, okay? Happy wife, happy life.
Mic drop. Mic drop.
Man, that's it.
Happy wife, happy life.
Hey, let me tell you, what do you think about this? I wanted to start a business. It would be the happy wife, happy life box, just for men, okay? So men will subscribe every single month, and it's like a secret thing that will keep their wife happy by sending them things to give their wife, or I don't know, like a call people. I don't know. I had that thought one day.
That sounds like an amazing plan. I'll tell you, oh my goodness me. I thank God for my wife. She's a blessing. It is no true words have ever been spoken. If my wife is not happy, quite simply, yeah. I know. I can see it in your eye. I know you know. Okay. Well, listen, Kit, thank you so much again for joining us tonight. Really appreciate you spending your time with us and sharing your knowledge with us. I'm going to give this video another replay afterwards to take some notes. And I'm going to skip the part where I did the ad-libbing of the SC.
Hey, that was really good.
I've been told it wasn't too bad, but I'll probably skip it anyway. So yeah, we've had a lot of love coming in from Facebook. I can't actually see the comments coming from elsewhere, but thank you to those people who've been watching live. I'm still figuring out. This is my new home. I've not used StreamYard before today, so this is kind of how it's going to be going forward. But thank you, Kit, so much for joining us. Regards to your wife. And keep doing what you're doing. If you want to follow Kit, he is there. You can have a look there. The links on Instagram at KitPangX, and then LinkedIn at KitPang, and also follow BostonSpeaks, which is his public speaking company as well. But thank you so much, Kit. Take care. Good night, and we'll hopefully speak to you again.
Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great night, afternoon, morning.
Brilliant. Thank you. Take care. Okay, so right now I am going to play the competition clip, as I said before. So I'm going to show this now. So if you watch, then I will show the question also. So
in February I was invited to give a TEDx talk on listening. Since January of 2016, I've hosted roughly 80 workshops on communication. I started a business called BostonSpeaks to teach public speaking and communication skills. And now I'm here at the conference of my dreams giving a talk titled, Listen to Stand Out.
Okay, so the question is, let me just remove this banner here, and I'm going to put the question up. The question is, what were the next 5 words that Kit says, and why does he say them? So the clip was just played. If you missed the clip, you're going to have to play this back. It's stored in whatever platform you're watching it on. So on Facebook, you'll be able to rewind it. Watch the clip again. And then I want you to find out and tell me, what are the next 5 words that Kit says, and why did he say them? Good luck. The winner will be selected at random. You'll get a £20 Amazon gift voucher and as well a free financial review. And that financial review, I keep telling you guys, this is like to the value of £595. This is not a cheap financial review. It'll comb through your finances, help you to make yourself great financially during this time and season, so you can come out as a financial genius. So good luck, everybody. Send the answers via direct message. Please don't post it in the comments, otherwise other people will copy your answer. So good luck, everybody. Take care. Next week we have an interview with Emmanuel Asukwo. We're going to be talking about spending habits. Emmanuel has featured on Channel 4. He's a financial advisor. He's worked with banks like Lloyd's, like Barclays. He's worked with a lot of different people giving financial advice, and of course on that television show. So we're going to talk to him. We're going to find out what we're doing wrong when it comes to spending money, and we're going to find out how to spend more effectively. So thank you, everybody, for joining us in the Honing Block. Good night, and we will see you next time.